Hello and welcome to the Diplomacy Podcast, a friendly project that aims to unite cultures. Today we have the chance to talk to the Arab Republic of Egypt ambassador in Romania. Mr. Moayad Dalie, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much for coming and welcome.
I imagine that being an ambassador is quite of a stressful job.
Yes, it's in a sort of a way that we are a little bit busy every day with meetings and reports from Egypt and reports to Egypt, but we are managing, and here we are. We are welcoming you now. We are not busy.
Thank you very much for your time. My first curiosity is, let's make a mental trip. Let's imagine it's Friday night, we're in a big city in Egypt, we just finished work. What's happening in a common family situation? Do they go out? Do they stay and cook?
Okay, so first thing that I just wanted to clarify that Friday in Egypt is the weekly holiday. So we are having Friday and Saturday.
Okay.
So we'll shift it to Thursday night.
Thursday, I think it's
okay. Usually Thursday nights people, because as the weekend will start, they just go out. Some go to cafes, some goes to clubs. It's just the free day. So Thursday night is like
a Friday night.
Friday night here. It's a typical thing that ordinary people will go out in the cafes, because Egypt is full of ordinary cafes, not lavish ones. They just go out, have tea, coffee. Some of them play cards.
Is this like a family habit, or
no,
youngsters with youngsters? And
it's not a family. The family gathering usually it's on Friday.
Okay.
So Friday we have the Friday prayers. This usually it's in the afternoon. After that, families gather in the house of the father or mother or grandfather if he's there. Usually all the family gathers there. They have lunch together and they spend the day just knowing what's happening, and because of this hectic life, there is no chance for the visits on a daily basis.
They just want to catch the time.
Yes.
Okay.
So this is the one day in the week that all the family gathers. They stay together, have lunch, have dinner, and just discuss what's happening throughout the week and get the bonds together.
Okay. What do they eat? When you think about the family gatherings in your childhood,
yes,
what's the smell that comes into your mind?
Of course, the famous dish in Egypt is called mulukhiyah. This is soup, green soup made of some green plant. It's full of iron and it's good for the health. But the Egyptian way that we make it makes it something special, because if any house is making mulukhiyah, if you are going from the gate of the house, you can smell the smell of mulukhiyah and everybody recognize it. So this is the famous dish. Of course, now with the new generation, it's not like before.
They're changing the recipes?
Yes, of course. This fast food, they order food from outside and all these
Even
things.
at the family gatherings?
Sometimes, yes.
Okay.
Because the new generation is, they don't want to stay for long in these gatherings. So they just come, have lunch, and they go out with their friends. But people like me in my age or something like that, no, we stay with our family and yes, to see your father and mother and let them feel that you are there, that you are not separated from them or something like that. Because this family linkage is, we were raised to make it something special for us. Unfortunately, some new generations, they are with this hectic life, they are not
But do you feel it's a huge difference between the younger Egyptian generation and what you used to do and how you used to behave when you were younger?
Yes, there is.
Were you closer to the family, you as a generation?
I think yes, because, when we were young, for example, the TV was just 2 channels. There was no this satellite, there was no internet, there was no this online games or something like that. So some time you spend it with your friends, maybe playing football, having some social interactions with them, but the rest of your time is with your family. I remember that when I was a kid, lunch was 3 o'clock sharp.
And you have to be there at 3
everybody must be on the table on 3 o'clock.
Otherwise,
you cannot eat because you'll eat alone. And this was a little bit not good when you eat alone. Our traditions is...
But this attitude is common in an Egyptian family to be
before,
on point?
yes, it was. Okay. At all times it was like that. Now, unfortunately, new generation, they just eat whenever they come back home, or sometimes they eat outside. So some traditions are fading, unfortunately.
Okay.
But of course, this is because the life is a little bit faster now. And for example, if you finish work at 3 o'clock in Egypt, if you come back, if you want to go back home, it might take you 1 hour or 2 hours to go back with the traffic and all these things. So people prefer just to
hang out, stay in the city, maybe.
Yes.
It's way easier now to, live a faster life. I don't know.
Yes, it's a faster life for the new generation, but the old generation, they would like to live the way they are
used to.
Yes.
But we were talking about traditions and customs. In your perspective, what makes you feel Egyptian? A way of being, something that you say? Is there an Egyptian saying that you sometimes hear from, strangers in traffic in Egypt? What's the most Egyptian thing you can...
There are many characteristics that Egyptians are known of. So, for example, Egyptians like to joke, and they are always smiling. They are always having jokes, even if there are some problems. They are creating jokes about these problems.
Okay.
So this is one famous thing about Egyptians, and it's known all over all the Arab world. So whenever you tell them Egyptians, say, tell me a joke. Oh, no, not all Egyptians are knows jokes. And this is one thing. Helping others. This is also something it's known about Egyptians, that they would like to help. Even if you are in the street, you don't know the address of something. If you ask someone, he will accompany you to show you where is it exactly, the address.
Some friends of mine told me that they've got lost in Cairo and asked around, and people literally were like, okay, I have to go that way, but I'm going to go with you this way just to help
This
you.
is something I don't know, it's something normal for Egyptians to help people. When I came here, for example, I was going with my driver and we were a little bit lost. So I was just telling him, just ask anybody. And then he was looking to me, you want to tell me, no, we don't do this here. I have the GPS, I have the address, so I'm going. I said, okay, whatever you want.
To be honest, I don't know how I would react if somebody asked for an address. Probably I'll get the phone out and just say it's, around the corner or something.
Yes.
Definitely,
but it's not normal here to ask someone about what is this address or something. I think so.
I think it depends, because it's a big country with different kind of personalities, not huge differences, but some kind of personalities vary.
So these are things that, it's normal for us, but people see that it's characterizing us, that helping people being...
But is there a saying in Egyptian that when you say it, it reminds me of home?
We have a saying, it's an historic saying. It's called لو لم أكن مصريا لوددت أن أكون مصريا. It means that if I am not Egyptian, I would like to be an Egyptian. So this is it's a famous saying because everybody knows it. I mean, in the Middle East or something like that. Also, there is something else that the Egyptian dialect is known all over the Middle East, the Arab world, because each Arab country have its own dialect. So when people from different Arab world meet, usually they use the traditional Arabic, because this is how it's written and what we learn in schools. This is the traditional Arabic. Everybody knows it. But if you are talking in the Egyptian dialect, most of the Arab
will know that you're from Egypt.
Will know from Egypt, and they will understand you. Okay. Because before, all the movies, all the songs, in old time, they were Egyptian. So people got used to the Egyptian dialect. So this is some things that are known about Egyptians, and we are proud of it.
We talked earlier before about the differences now between generations, but you've been already, I think, 3.5 years, an ambassador in Romania. What are the similarities and the main differences you've seen between Egypt and Romania? And what struck you first thing when you arrived in Romania? And it's still...
Mm-hmm. Okay, I have been for 2.5 years now here, and the most thing that I recognize that similar in each countries are the family bonds with old Romanian people and people in the villages and these things. They are very similar to Egyptians. I'm not sure, but I heard that people here in the new generation, they stay with their families longer than the new generation in Europe.
That they live in their house with their parents.
They stay with their parents until I think they are married or working.
35. Mm-hmm. It happens, but I think it's a European tendency.
I don't know, but I was posted in Germany, for example, before, but I know that the new generation, they just, when they finish their school or something, they just leave the house and live independently.
I also saw the statistic that says that in the Netherlands, Germany, mm-hmm. Finland,
yes.
The Nordic side of Europe, is exactly as you said.
So, yes.
They leave the parents' home as soon as they turn 18 or 19. But in Romania, Italy, Spain,
yes.
even Greece,
the warm, we say this, the warm blood people, yes. Because in Egypt, we are known that we are warm-blooded people.
Or the lack of money to move.
No, I don't think it's a lack of money. Because if he's working, for example, he can just take a studio and live alone. But I think the bonds, the family bonds are still rooted in the
Some
people.
moms, they cook really well.
Mm-hmm. So this is something similar, and I was very happy to see it in some friends of mine that they are still living with their sons and daughters. Other thing that people are friendly. Whenever you are, for example, when I came, I don't understand any Romanian word. So when I go to any shop or something, even if the guy there, they don't know English, but he's trying to help you with the international language, with signs or something like that. This is also in Egypt, because the ordinary people in Egypt, not all of them speak English, but if any tourist is there, they are using the international sign to let him understand exactly what they want.
But we were talking earlier about the differences between Bucharest and Cairo. Do you feel any difference in terms, I don't know, of traffic, as you just said?
No, the traffic, we have worse traffic in Egypt, but I didn't expect that I'll have traffic problems in Romania. When I was coming, I said, no, this is Romania. I don't expect to have a traffic problem. But when I came, I found that it's a big problem. Because going, for example, for us, for diplomats, for example, if you have a meeting, you have to leave maybe 1 hour before so that you are not late for the meeting. And of course, this is a little bit annoying for us and also sometimes it's not good to go late for a meeting. If it's with an official meeting or something, it's not good. So it's taking a lot of our time. Other than that, I was afraid when I came that it's very cold here in winter, but luckily...
In the last couple of years, I think you managed to have the warmest winters.
Yes, it's not as I
I think
imagined.
now it's quite spring.
Yes. Something is changing in this climate change all over the world, so it's really... I'm thankful for it.
But the question is, how hot is in Egypt during summer?
No, in Egypt, in summer, it's really very hot, and sometimes it reaches 40 degrees. So it's not comparable to here in summer. Summer here is
so
very
the
hot.
idea of having a minus 20 degree winter in Bucharest sounded quite extreme. Mm-hmm. But you were lucky.
Yes, I'm lucky, and I hope next year also I'll be lucky.
What's your favorite Egyptian movie? The one that you feel that if we all saw it, it would represent Egypt for us?
Beside from the historic movies, we have a lot of historic movies, but there is an old movie. It's called Dua al-Karawan. It's the prayer of the Karawan. This is a sort of a bird. And it's usually singing in the dawn. So this movie is written by Dr. Taha Hussein. This is one of our intellectual writers in Egypt. He have his studies in Paris, and he was a highly educated person. When he came back, he was the Minister of Culture. And this movie, it's shot. All the movie is shot in the village side. So it shows the contradictions between the modernization in the capital and
the rural old.
Yes, and how these different ideas causes problems between the old-minded people and the educated people. So this movie, I think it's reflecting the true Egyptian culture, and it's one of the classical movies that all Egyptians would, even if they saw it before,
they would gladly see it
they
again.
see it again and again. And there are some verses from the movie. They are used in the daily life now. For example, when there is something happening, they just take this verse and say it.
And it kind of explains everything.
Yes, but some of the new generation, of course, they don't understand what do you mean of this verse you are saying. So
you have to see the movie.
Yeah, you have to see the movie, of course.
And your favorite Egyptian author and book?
Yes, of course, we have Naguib Mahfouz. He's a Nobel Prize winner, and most of his books, they are also reflecting the ordinary people in Egypt. It's always talking about the middle class people and even the lower class people, and bringing up the problems of these people in such a way that seeking a solution for these problems. So I think that's why he won the Nobel Prize, because it was the true reflection of the Egyptian life. because, of course, the high class in Egypt, they have a different life from the middle and the lower class.
And it's a different story.
Yes, so most of the movies, they are reflecting the high class and all these things happening. But Naguib Mahfouz, he states maybe 80% or 90% of his writing
focusing on the middle and lower class. We are talking about how people are in Egypt, and I'm curious, when you're thinking about Egypt, what are the main vacation destination that would you prefer?
Of course, for tourists is different than Egyptians.
Let's put it for Egyptians, not for tourists.
Okay, so for Egyptians, there are some new openings now that...
I'm feeling that we have some insight.
For example, in the West Desert, we have a huge desert in Egypt. There are a place called the Oasis, and the nature there is really fascinating. And most of the Egyptians haven't been there because it's a little bit far away. To go there, you have to take 4x4 car because you are going through the desert. The paved ways are away from these fascinating places. There is a place called the White Desert there. The sand is white, totally white. And there are some mountains also. There are made from some minerals, and they are white. And also natural water. There are some places to go if you are having some problems with your...
some health issues that you...
And these places are not so sophisticated, they are very simple. For example, you can go for one night there in a tent with nothing, with just the fire and the people there. They are making you the food there.
And this is something common that Egyptians like to do in vacations?
Now it's something new for us. And there are many places also, because usually Egyptians were going to the pyramids, Sharm el-Sheikh, Hurghada, Luxor, Aswan. But there are other places that nobody was thinking about it.
And now they're just being discovered.
Yes, and there are some tours now being made for everybody, not only for Egyptians. That's why most of the Egyptians decide just to see what they didn't see before.
Rediscovering the culture and the other parts of the country.
Yes.
If you were now in Egypt with your family, where would you go? Now,
in winter, the best place to go now is having a cruise in the Nile between Luxor and Aswan, because Luxor and Aswan are in the south of Egypt. And usually in winter, the weather there is very nice. It's not cold at all, maybe at night a little bit cold, but throughout the days, it's like spring. So usually people in winter, they head to Luxor and Aswan. The cruise is something very fascinating. You are just in the middle of the water and relaxing. There is no noise, no pollution, and you are just having a relaxed time. So if I was there, I would definitely have this cruise.
I'm curious, from what you know and what you feel, are there any discrepancies between Egyptians in the north side of the country and from one of the south? I'm just giving an example, like we have in many other countries, differences between, North Italy and South Italy. Do you feel it's this kind of dynamic between citizens from different areas of the country?
Yes, it's from north to south, there are big differences between Egyptians themselves. For example, in the north, in Alexandria, Alexandrian people are different than people of Cairo. And whenever you go south, it's, for example, in the Delta, because we have the north is on the Mediterranean. Cairo is a little bit south of Alexandria, and then the Delta. This is where the countryside. villages and people who are working in agriculture and all these things. Whenever you go south, this is, we call it Side Masr. It's the Upper Egypt. And people there, because usually in summer it's very hot. So they are tough. It's known that people from Upper Egypt are very tough. So whenever you go from south to north, this toughness, it's getting easier.
You can see that they're way more relaxed.
Yes.
And probably it has something to do with the way it developed as a country, because in the north side,
Yes.
the bigger cities.
Yes. And people in Alexandria, because they were open before for people were coming from Greece, Italy, and many places, because it's a Mediterranean country. So you find them that they have this easiness with foreigners, and they are trying to be different than the people from Cairo. But there is this, what do you call it, rivalry? Not rivalry, it's competition between both sides to show that they are more open for foreigners. Because, of course, the Sphinx and the pyramids in Egypt, most of the tourism are coming to Cairo. So people are trying to have this competition. No, we are helping more than you and all these things.
I think that's a healthy competition between cities. I mean, more to that. When you're thinking about your childhood, what's the most vivid memory you're having?
The most thing that I miss from my childhood is the being with friends. Because when we were, as I told you, there was no internet, there was no TV, it was really, when you are going with your friends, this is the time that you are free, that you are enjoying playing together, sitting together, saying stories, hearing new things. So this thing now, because of course, whenever you get older, you have some responsibilities. You don't have time to...
So I understand you spend a lot of time with your friends outside.
Yes. Almost every day we were together playing football, playing I don't know what. And even at night, the weekends, we just go sit together, doing nothing, just playing and having stories and talking together. So this linkage with the childhood friend, I really miss it. And I think that because of the hectic life we are now, you don't have the time to mingle with your friends as much as you were in your childhood. Besides, of course, that being not in Egypt, this is another issue. Yes. You are always outside, 4 years outside, 2 years in Egypt. When you go back to Egypt for these 2 years, you have many things to do and you don't have much time to see your old friends. So it's a good chance when we go for a holiday or something to meet together with this group of childhood friends, and really it brings sweet memories, as we say.
Talking about being in Romania for a couple of years now, what's your favorite Romanian movie or author?
Unfortunately, because I don't know Romanian language, I don't.
It has to be something that's been already translated.
Yes, but during the last 2 years, I went to this concert of Stefan Banica.
Yes, Stefan Banica.
Yes, and I really enjoyed it. And every time, I think it's before Christmas or something like that.
It's a tradition for him to have a Christmas concert.
It's a very nice one, and I really...
So you enjoy the rock and roll vibe and everything?
Yes, the vibes there. And every day, for example, I hear the radio. There is, I think it's Kiss FM, and they have a lot of Romanian...
Pop music, Romanian, yes.
I enjoy it also, though I don't understand it, but I enjoy the rhythm of it.
Sometimes not even the listeners understand the message, but it's okay. And if somebody from Egypt, a friend of yours, would call you and say, what do you recommend to do in Romania? What would you say? What city, what place to visit?
Of course, Brasov is on the top of my list. It's a very nice city. I visited it maybe 4 times now. And as I told you, every time when I'm leaving, I said, I'm coming back. And that's beside the other attractions here. There are many fascinating places outside of Bucharest. I didn't have the chance of seeing all of it, but I'm planning to every month that I'm going to see something different. Of course, my friends who are coming, because they are staying in Bucharest, so of course, it comes on the top, the parliament and the old city, and having this city tour also, because, downtown here in Victoria and all these places, it's looked very similar to downtown in Cairo. Even there is this big building in Victoria Square. It's like, also there is a similar building in the famous Tahrir Square in Egypt. So whenever you look at it, you say, it's the same. But of course, it's a little bit different.
You mean the government?
No, not the government. The other one, the big building.
The big block?
Yes, it's all this big
okay,
block.
with the commercials above?
Yes.
Okay. I have no idea that kind of architecture is similar to something in Cairo, but...
Yes, it's similar to, we call it Tahrir Center. It's in the Tahrir Square, the famous Tahrir Square, of course, in Egypt. It was the seat of many official offices of the ministries. It was an old building, but now it's being renovated, and I think it is going to be a new hotel.
Similarity?
Yes, it's a big similarity. These old buildings, yes, you feel that you are home.
That's nice. That's in spite of the weather, the cold weather sometimes. And my final curiosity is about the Egyptian community in Romania. What do we know about them? Can we pinpoint some kind of age cluster, professions?
The Egyptian community here, it used to be a very large community before, because most of...
Before, about what?
I think 20 years ago or something, because many students, they came and they were studying here in the universities. Some of them, they stayed. They got married with Romanians, and they have families now. And this is about it's not the majority of the Egyptians here, but they are the big names that we know here. They were students and they continued their life here, having the families, and they continue to live in Romania. We have also another cluster of Egyptian community, and these are the young generation. Unfortunately, they are not studying in the universities as before, because most of them shifted to Ukraine before that, and after the war they went back to Egypt. So most of them prefer to go back to Egypt because they have some facilities going back to the universities there. Of course, here some universities, we got in contact with them and they were ready to accept them. But, after this problem in Ukraine, the students themselves were feeling that they need to be with their families.
Closer to home.
Yes. So with the facilities that the Egyptian government gave them, so they preferred to go back to Egypt.
What are the main activities, cultural-wise, that the embassy is offering to the Romanian and both Egyptians? living in Romania?
Of course, we are trying here as an embassy to spread the Egyptian culture. And for example, last year we have he's not an Egyptian, but he's a Lebanese painter. He came, and we have here in the embassy an exhibition for his...
And people can visit the exhibition?
Yes. It stayed, I think, 2 days. Now we are trying to have another exhibition. It will be in the parliament also, but different paintings than the one that was last year. On the other side, also the Egyptian culture itself. We are trying also to let people know what's the true Egyptian culture. For example, next month, my wife is going to host in the residence a function that shows what are Egyptians doing in the holy month of Ramadan. Because the holy month of Ramadan will start 11th of March. We usually fast for 30 days in Ramadan, and some people don't understand exactly why we are fasting, what are the traditions of Ramadan. And so we are organizing some cultural event to show the vibes of Ramadan, as we say. And also there are some special foods for this month. So I think this is one part of showing the Egyptian culture. Besides that, of course, we have some events that the Egyptian community here are organizing. For example, as I told you, that we have a Coptic church here, and Father Mina, he's the head of this church in Bucharest, and every religious occasion, he's having a festival, we say, because he's cooking by himself.
Oh, that's very nice.
So all Egyptians are invited, Muslims, Copts, Christians, everybody's being invited.
I imagine it looks really nice to unite all kind of religions under one chef.
Mm-hmm. So it's really, the Egyptian community here is not so big, but the relations are very good. They try to meet on these occasions, in different occasions. Also in Ramadan, we are having iftar together. So we are trying to get them together and keep the bonds.
That's really nice. And I appreciate you doing this for the entire community and also for the Romanian audience to learn more about Egypt.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for having me with you, and I wish you all the success, and we'll see you again.
Hope so. Hope so. Thank you very much for your time. Hope you enjoyed our travel to Egypt. Maybe you'll go to Egypt sooner or later, or even visit Romania if you're not from the country. And see you next time at another embassy.